Hi, welcome back to the EBS50 tutorials. My name is Jeroen Rodenhuis, one of the developers of the ESL Server software. And today I'm going to tell you about the basics of the connections that you can make with the EBS50. Because in our very first episode with the quick start, I showed you can take this unit, you plug in the Ethernet for an internet connection, and you plug in a power cable for the power supply, and you're good to go. But there are more options. And the first one is you can get rid of the power cable by using Power over Ethernet, PoE. Because basically then one single wire, like this one here, can both power the device and provide it with an internet connection. So it's as easy as plugging it into the right port, and just as with the power adapter plus Ethernet connection, the power light switches on and the other lights will switch on in a second as well. The hardware will boot up and then the entire device is powered and supplied with an internet connection through one single wire. So that's Power over Ethernet. But what if you've got a store where a power supply isn't that big an issue, but getting it connected wired to a network is? Well, no problem. On the back side of the unit, next to the Ethernet ports, there is also a USB port. There are several dongles that we can support. You can contact Opticon's support line for the latest information. Right here I've got an aftermarket USB 3 port wireless adapter, or if you need something beefier with a large antenna, this one can be used as well. And in that case it's as easy as taking the dongle, placing it in the USB port, and it will power on. And all that is left to do is to configure it through the ESL Server software. Now, for the first configuration, you will need an existing network connection so we can reach the unit. So right now I'm leaving the PoE cable on the unit. So we can open up a browser and we will surf to the ebs50.local webpage. And we will soon be greeted with the default interface. So now that we have the default interface, we can log in with the default user password, admin. And on this EBS50, we will then surf to the system settings. And under network and Wi-Fi, you can say if you want to use it as a Wi-Fi client or server. We'll get back to the server in a second, because right now we're going to say that it is a Wi-Fi client. Now the adapter is in the unit on the bottom of the device. And we can say, okay, refresh and go check the networks that are available in the vicinity. So we'll start searching for the SSIDs that are being broadcast nearby. And after a while of searching, it will find all of the networks. And we want to connect to Opticon Private, our local network. We type in the password. We press connect. And it will try to log in the network with the password that we provided. And as you can see, it has connected. Its name has turned blue. And if we go to the properties screen, we can find that it has a new IP address. So right now we've been serving to ebs50.local all the time. Instead of that, we can go to the actual IP address of the system, and we're greeted with the same screen. So now that the configuration for the Wi-Fi has been completed, we can simply take out the Ethernet cable at the bottom. All the communications will now be processed by this wireless dongle, and all you need to power your device is that power adapter. You will no longer need an Ethernet adapter. You can place this anywhere you want where you don't have an Ethernet cable, and it will still connect to your existing wireless network. It's as simple as that. Now, some of you might not want to connect your base station to that public network, but you still want to be able to connect to the EBS50, and maybe not even through an Ethernet cable. What if you have one of our H28 or 31s, one of our mobile handheld scanning devices? They have a Wi-Fi adapter. Well, instead of using the Wi-Fi adapter to connect to a client system, we can say we want it to connect as a host, that it will act as if it is a Wi-Fi router itself, so that devices can connect to it instead of it connecting to an existing network. So, once again, we'll plug the Ethernet cable back in so that we have a wired connection to perform these changes. And in system settings, we go back to Wi-Fi, and instead of having it act as a client, we say, we want you to act as a server. And we say, I want you to act as an access point, and we need, of course, an SSID so that other network devices can find it in the wireless space. Let's call it EBS50 tutorial. Let's give it an easy password. You can set it on different frequencies. You can say which region you're in. It of course depends on the capabilities of your Wi-Fi dongle. You can say which channel we're in. And we can set up this new network. Now, the device will process the information you just gave it. And the access point has been created. It says, please enable the DHCP server if you want your clients to be assigned dynamic addresses. Well, we do want to do that. So we say that this one starts at 10.0.0.1. And we turn on the DHCP server and we say any client that connects gets an IP address between 10.0.0.2 and 10.0.0.20. We'll just give it a couple of dummy DNS servers because we're not actually connected to the outside internet, so the DNS servers aren't that important, but it needs it for its setup. We press save, and we're done. Now, if we look at the DHCP leases, that means which devices are connected to the EBS50 at the moment. We don't see anyone at present, so I'll just take out my phone and I'll say, okay phone, let's go and search for a network nearby. So it has found EBS50 tutorial on the network. I give up my password. I say connect. And right now I'm connected with my phone to the EBS50 directly, without any network in between. And we can see my phone just popped up in the leases. So my phone is now connected and it's received this address. Now the upside is, this one is hosting its own little private wireless network. And if I take my phone and I surf to that IP address we gave up earlier, the 10.0.0.1, and I say go in my browser, we'll see in a second that it loads up the interface that we saw on the PC, but now on the browser on my phone. And that way you can connect to your device without having to install any wires and without having it connected to your private network if you don't want it on there. And those are the basic connections: Power and Ethernet, Power over Ethernet, Power and a Wi-Fi client adapter, and Power and a Wi-Fi server adapter. If you have any further questions, you can find the contact for Opticon in the description. There are also other tutorials in this series. You can also find the playlist in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.